1 month before our wedding, I found out she was still messaging her ex, telling him I'm only marrying him for stability. When I asked her about it, she said, "So, a girl's gotta survive. I didn't fight. I just canceled everything." She showed up at the venue in a dress to an empty building. Before we start, I just want to say thank you for being here. It means the world. But take a look at this. Only 8% of people watching are subscribed. If you enjoy these stories and want to support more of them, just one click makes a huge difference. I'm sitting in a bar 3,000 miles from home, drinking a beer that costs too much, realizing I should be on my honeymoon right now. Instead, I'm here alone, halfway through a 2-week motorcycle trip up the Pacific Coast Highway, something I've always wanted to do but never found the time for. Funny how life works out sometimes. Let me back up. I'm 34, own a property restoration business that specializes in historic homes. Started working construction at 19, took night classes in business management, and built something I'm genuinely proud of. I now have 15 employees and contracts booked solid for the next 8 months. Life's been good on the professional front. My personal life was looking pretty good too, or so I thought. I met Tessa, 31, 3 years ago when her design firm was hired to work on a Victorian renovation my company was handling. She was sharp, ambitious, and we clicked immediately. Our relationship progressed naturally, and about a year ago, I proposed. She said yes, and we set the date for June 25th. Wedding planning was mostly her thing, though I helped where I could. My main contributions were handling the venue, an old converted warehouse with exposed brick that cost a fortune, and managing our honeymoon arrangements to the Maldives, another small fortune. Tessa handled everything else: the dress, flowers, invitations, all of it. All told, we were looking at around $60,000 for the wedding and another $15,000 for the honeymoon. We split the costs based on our incomes, which meant I was covering about 70%. I wasn't thrilled about spending that much, but Tessa insisted this was her only wedding and wanted it to be perfect. I figured it was worth it to make her happy, and my business was doing well enough to afford it. 4 weeks before the wedding, I was using Tessa's laptop to order a surprise gift for her, a custom piece of jewelry to wear on our wedding day. She'd left her laptop at my place and told me the password 100 times for various reasons, so this wasn't unusual. As I was searching through Etsy, a notification popped up from Instagram. The preview showed just enough. "Miss you too. This separation won't be forever." I don't consider myself the jealous type, and I'm not one to snoop, but something about the wording set off alarm bells. I clicked on it. It was from Brandon, her ex-boyfriend from before we met. The one she claimed was ancient history and completely out of the picture. I scrolled up to see their conversation, and what I found made my stomach drop. Sometimes I wonder if we're making a mistake by not trying again. You know how I feel? I never wanted to end things. Life is complicated. I'm only marrying him for stability. He's a good guy, but what? But he's not you. He doesn't make me feel what you do. He's safe, reliable. So why go through with it? A girl's gotta survive. His business is taking off and he adores me. We'll have a beautiful house and I won't have to worry about money again. And us? Who knows what the future holds? I'll always have a special place for you. There was more, much more. Messages going back months, interspersed with regular intervals where they'd switch to phone calls or meet for coffee when she was in his city for work. Nothing explicitly physical from what I could see, but the emotional betrayal was crystal clear. I sat there for a long time just staring at the screen, trying to process what I was reading. This woman I thought I knew, who I was planning to spend my life with, was settling for me while pining for someone else. When Tessa came over that evening, I decided to approach it directly. I'm not one for games or dramatic reveals. Is there something you want to tell me about Brandon? I asked as she was taking off her coat. Her face registered surprise, then quick calculation, then a forced casual expression. Brandon? What about him? I saw your messages on Instagram. She froze momentarily, then sighed. You went through my private messages? Classic deflection. Not denying, just attacking my methods. A notification popped up while I was using your laptop, with your permission, to buy you a gift, but that's not the point. You told him you're only marrying me for stability. She sat down across from me, not looking particularly remorseful. Just caught. It's not what you think. Really? Because it looks like you've been emotionally involved with your ex while planning our wedding. It looks like you don't actually love me, but you do love my financial prospects. Please, tell me what I'm misunderstanding. She stared at me for a moment, then something shifted in her expression, a sort of resignation mixed with defiance. Fine. Yes, I still have feelings for Brandon. We have a connection that's hard to explain, but that doesn't mean I don't care about you. Care about me? Or care about what I can provide? She shrugged. Actually shrugged. So, a girl's gotta survive. Do you know how many women marry for security rather than passion? At least I'm being honest about it now. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The callousness stunned me. You really don't see anything wrong with this? I asked. Look, Brandon and I have history, but he's never been reliable. You are. You're stable, successful, kind. Most men would be thrilled to have a woman like me, even if I occasionally talk to an old flame. Occasionally talk to? You told him you're only with me for my money, and that you still have feelings for him. I was just venting. Everyone says things they don't mean sometimes. But her eyes told a different story. There was no real remorse there, just annoyance at being caught. I took a deep breath. I think you should leave. Don't be dramatic. We're getting married in a month. All our deposits are paid. My family is flying in from across the country. Not anymore, I said quietly. What's that supposed to mean? It means the wedding is off. I'm not marrying someone who sees me as a meal ticket. She laughed, actually laughed. You're upset, I get it, but you'll calm down and realize you're overreacting. We can talk about this tomorrow. There's nothing to talk about. Please leave. For the first time, concern flickered across her face. You can't just cancel a wedding a month before. That's insane. Think about all the money we've already spent. I'd rather lose the deposits than spend my life with someone who doesn't love me. After she left, still convinced I'd change my mind, I made a plan. I didn't yell, didn't throw things, didn't drunk text her friends or family. I just methodically went about dismantling what would have been the biggest mistake of my life. First, I called the venue and explained the situation. The manager was surprisingly understanding and said that while they couldn't refund my deposit, they would leave the reservation in place through the date as a professional courtesy. Just in case, she said kindly. I thanked her but assured her there was no just in case here. Next, I called the honeymoon resort and canceled our reservation. They had a 30-day cancellation policy, which meant I lost that deposit too, but I was past caring about money at this point. Then I contacted everyone on my side of the guest list, family, friends, colleagues, and informed them the wedding was off. I was direct but didn't share the details. Just said, Tessa and I have decided to end our relationship. I apologize for any inconvenience. Most were shocked but supportive. I didn't contact her side of the guest list. That was her responsibility. Tessa called me constantly for the next 2 days, alternating between anger, pleading, and practical concerns about the wedding. I didn't pick up once. Instead, I texted, the wedding is canceled. I've handled my side of things. Please don't contact me again. She showed up at my house unannounced, demanding we talk. I told her there was nothing to discuss and closed the door. She waited on my porch for 2 hours before finally leaving. Through mutual friends, I heard she was telling everyone I was having cold feet and that the wedding was still on. She hadn't canceled anything on her end, nor had she told her family or friends the truth. 3 weeks passed. I focused on work, spent time with supportive friends, and began planning a solo trip for what would have been our honeymoon. I'd already paid for the time off, might as well use it. A week before the original wedding date, Tessa's maid of honor, who I'd always gotten along with, reached out to me directly. Is it really over? Jen asked when I agreed to meet her for coffee. Completely, I confirmed. She's still getting ready like it's happening. Final dress fitting was yesterday. She told her parents he too had a fight, but worked it out. I shook my head in disbelief. I've been crystal clear with her. The wedding is off. Jen looked troubled. The thing is, I've known Tessa since college. This isn't the first time She trailed off. The first time she's what? The first time she's had a backup plan. Brandon was actually her backup when she was with her ex before him. Then you became the stable option when Brandon couldn't commit. Jen looked genuinely remorseful. I should have said something sooner. This new information just confirmed I'd made the right decision. I thanked Jen for her honesty and asked one favor. Don't tell her about this conversation. Let her learn the hard way. Jen agreed, though she looked conflicted. The day of the wedding arrived. I was already on the road, my motorcycle packed for a 2-week coastal journey. But through the friend grapevine, I got the full story of what happened at the venue. Apparently, Tessa arrived early with her bridesmaids to get ready, telling them I'd be arriving with my groomsmen separately. The venue staff, true to their word, had kept the reservation open, but hadn't set anything up. No chairs, no altar, no decorations. When Tessa demanded to know why, they simply said, the event was canceled weeks ago by the contract holder. Still, she maintained that there must be a mistake. Her bridesmaids helped her into her dress, did her hair and makeup, all while Tessa kept checking her phone, insisting I was just running late. As the supposed ceremony time approached, her guests began arriving, confused by the empty venue. Her parents tried calling the venue manager, who simply showed them the cancellation notice with my signature. Meanwhile, Tessa stood in her wedding dress in an empty building, finally facing the reality she'd been denying for weeks. According to Jen, when it became undeniable that no wedding was happening, Tessa had a complete meltdown in front of everyone. The truth about why I'd ended things came out in her hysterical explanations, including her admission that she'd been stringing both me and Brandon along. Brandon, who she'd secretly invited to the wedding as a guest, presumably to rub in what she was sacrificing for stability, slipped out during the chaos. Her father ended up settling the bill with the venue for the wasted day and apologized to all the guests, many of whom had traveled significant distances. The entire fiasco cost her family thousands, on top of all the non-refundable deposits I'd already lost. That was 2 weeks ago. I've been on the road since, finding a strange peace in the solitude and the constant movement. My phone periodically lights up with messages from mutual friends, sharing updates I haven't asked for but can't help reading. Tessa's design firm put her on leave after she had a breakdown at work. Her parents are furious. Apparently they paid for a lot of the wedding too. Brandon blocked her on everything after the wedding disaster. I haven't responded to any of these updates. What's done is done. I lost money, sure, but I saved myself from a marriage built on lies. Some lessons are expensive. Tonight, I'm watching the sunset from a cliffside bar in California, thousands of miles from what was supposed to be the start of my married life. Tomorrow, I'll continue up the coast, just me and the road and the knowledge that sometimes the most painful decisions lead to the greatest freedom. Sometimes the best revenge isn't anything elaborate. It's just the simple truth finally having its day. Update. Thanks for all the support and awards. It's been 3 months since the non-wedding, and thought I'd share where things stand now. For those asking about legal consequences, there weren't any. Since I was the primary contract holder for most vendors and the one who canceled, all I lost were the deposits I'd already paid. Expensive lesson, but legally straightforward. A few people criticized me for not telling her family directly. Yes, maybe that would have been the mature thing to do, but honestly, she's an adult. It wasn't my responsibility to manage her relationships or explanations. She had 3 weeks to come clean, and she chose not to. The business is doing great, just landed our biggest contract yet, restoring a historical theater downtown. Nothing helps you focus on work like needing a distraction from personal chaos. As for Tessa, I've heard she moved back in with her parents temporarily and is finding herself through intensive therapy. According to Jen, who I still get coffee with occasionally, Tessa's therapist helped her recognize a pattern of seeking validation from multiple men and fear of genuine commitment. Maybe she'll grow from this, not my concern anymore. Brandon apparently reconnected with his college girlfriend and they're now engaged. Bullet dodged all around, it seems. Me? I've decided to take a serious break from dating. Recently bought that motorcycle I rented for my trip and have been exploring weekend routes around my state. Also started volunteering, teaching construction skills to at-risk youth on Saturdays. Something I'd always wanted to do but never had time for while planning a wedding with someone who didn't really want me. Sometimes life's hardest moments are just redirections to where you should have been all along. Not saying I'm thankful for what happened, but I'm at peace with where it led me. Final thought: trust your gut. If something feels off in your relationship, pay attention to that feeling. It might just save you from a lifetime of regret, or at minimum, from standing alone at the altar.